Some crimes are so disturbing that time cannot erase them. Years turn into decades, leads disappear, witnesses die, and evidence slowly fades away. Yet these cases refuse to rest. They remain open wounds in the history of crime, haunting investigators, families, and entire communities. These are the cold cases that were never solved, the mysteries that still whisper unanswered questions, and the chilling stories where the truth remains hidden in silence. In 1947, the mutilated body of a man was discovered on Somerton Beach in Australia. He carried no identification, his clothes had their labels removed, and no one ever came forward to claim him. A cryptic piece of paper found in his pocket contained the words, Tamam Shud, meaning ended. Decades of investigation uncovered secret codes, mysterious phone numbers, and possible links to espionage, yet no clear answers ever emerged. To this day, the identity of the Somerton man and the reason for his death remain one of the world's most unsettling mysteries. Their mother stepped out briefly, and when she returned, the children were gone. There were no signs of forced entry, no witnesses, and no reliable leads. Over the years, possible sightings surfaced, but each one led nowhere. Decades later, their fate remains unknown, leaving behind a haunting question of what happened in those few silent minutes. In 1982, a family of 4 was brutally murdered in their home in Keddie, California. The crime scene was violent and chaotic, yet several people in the house were strangely unharmed. Early police mistakes contaminated evidence, and key suspects were never properly investigated. Despite later discoveries of possible murder weapons and confessions, no arrests were ever made. The Keddie cabin murders remain a chilling example of how early failures can doom a case forever. In 1996, 6-year-old JonBenét Ramsey was found murdered in the basement of her family's home in Boulder, Colorado. A strange ransom note, written inside the house, confused investigators from the very beginning. Media attention exploded, turning the case into a public spectacle. Suspects ranged from family members to intruders, but DNA evidence failed to deliver clear answers. Decades later, the case remains unsolved, and the truth behind JonBenét's death is still hidden behind controversy and unanswered questions. In 2004, 24-year-old Maura disappeared after a car crash on a rural road in New Hampshire. By the time police arrived, she was gone. There were no footprints, no confirmed sightings, and no solid evidence of what happened next. Some believe she ran into the woods, others suspect foul play, and some think she started a new life. Despite massive public interest, her disappearance remains one of the most baffling missing person cold cases in modern history. In 1966, a killer calling himself the Zodiac began sending cryptic letters to newspapers in California, mocking police and claiming responsibility for a series of murders. Some letters contained coded messages that remain unsolved even today. Despite fingerprints, eyewitnesses, and suspects, the Zodiac Killer was never caught. His identity remains unknown, and his letters continue to terrify generations, reminding the world that some killers disappear without a trace. In 1992, 19-year-old Asha Degree vanished from her home in North Carolina during a stormy night. She was last seen walking alone along a highway in the early morning hours. Her backpack was later found buried miles away. There was no clear reason for her to leave, and no explanation for what happened next. Decades later, her disappearance remains a heartbreaking mystery that continues to haunt investigators and her family. In 1980, a woman known only as the Isdal Woman was found burned in a remote valley in Norway. Like the Somerton man, her identity was never confirmed. Labels were removed from her clothes, and she carried multiple fake identities. Evidence suggested espionage, but no proof was ever found. Her death remains an eerie puzzle, filled with secrecy, false names, and unanswered questions. In 1990, 3 young boys were found murdered in Robin Hood Hills, Arkansas. The case became famous as the West Memphis 3. Although 3 teenagers were convicted, serious doubts about the evidence led to their release years later. With the original convictions overturned, the case returned to being unsolved. The real killer or killers have never been identified, leaving the murders officially unanswered. In 2007, 23-year-old Madeleine McCann disappeared from a vacation apartment in Portugal while her parents were nearby. Despite international investigations, suspects, and massive media coverage, no definitive answers were ever found. Possible leads surfaced years later, but none resulted in a confirmed conclusion. Her disappearance remains one of the most high-profile unsolved cases in the world. These unsolved cold cases are more than mysteries. They are reminders of how fragile life can be and how easily someone can vanish without explanation. Every unanswered question represents years of pain for families who never received closure. For them, time does not heal, it only deepens the silence. Investigators often return to these cases again and again, hoping that new technology or a forgotten witness will finally unlock the truth. Sometimes all it takes is one confession, one DNA match, or one person willing to speak after years of fear. But until that moment comes, these cases remain frozen in time. What makes these cases so chilling is not just the crimes themselves, but the fact that someone somewhere knows the truth. A killer walked away, a secret was buried, a life ended without answers. And the world was left behind with nothing but questions. As we reach the end of today's story, remember that these victims are not just mysteries. They were real people with real lives, dreams, and families who never stopped searching. Their stories deserve to be told, even if the truth has not yet been revealed. If these cases disturbed you, that feeling is a reminder of why they matter. Silence allows mysteries to fade, but telling these stories keeps hope alive. Somewhere, someday, one of these cases may finally be solved. Thank you for watching. If you believe in the power of truth and the importance of remembering the forgotten, please like this video, share it, and subscribe for more real stories that prove one chilling fact. Some mysteries never die, and some truths are still waiting to be uncovered.